Hi guys, welcome back to another Marvel Rivals replay review. Today we're having a look at a Squirrel Girl. They are up in Diamond, kind of touching on GM most of the time. We are on Spider Islands, so we are going to have a little look at how they do on Squirrel Girl, see how they're going on, point out some of their positioning mistakes, some of their ability usage mistakes, and just offer some advice to see how they maybe could have helped win this game. If you guys would like one of your replays reviewed, make sure to check out the Discord, marked in the description below, and pop it in, and you could find yourself having a review for you too. So let's get into it. So we are on attack here. If we just have a little look at the lineup, so we've got 2-2-2 on the enemy team and 2-2-2 on our team. We've got a magic, so there's going to be diving from magic, and we're going to be able to spray in a Squirrel Girl, kind of cause a bit of chaos. So we do have Twitch chat watching along with us currently, and often the guys like to offer some advice. So Squirrel Girl kind of benefits from playing in the main channels, spraying in, firing in to sort of just crowds, being able to do a lot of damage. Really nice positioning there to realise that some people on your team did unfortunately go down, and you backed yourself up in a great pick onto the Jeff. Nice route into the Venom, but what I'd probably like to see you do there is, let me just understand the controls and the symbols. So I think R1 is your leap, L1 is your refresh, and L2 is your route. I think Squirrel Girl, like, it is a lot of habit to just spray, you know, like just here where we're firing forward, but I think if you just think for a second instead of just shooting, probably just hit that wall like a little bit earlier, but I'm not going to complain too much. And it's a shame we didn't get the high ground there. Squirrel Girl really benefits from high ground. Going for a route on the Scarlet, we just missed that route. I think just take a little moment there to just take a, like, unfortunately she gets pushed by the mag, but just take a second if you can to line that route up. If you hit that route, this lady's definitely dead. Scarlet Witch cannot oh, her little thing disappeared. Scarlet Witch cannot get away if she's rooted. She's unable to use her phase shift ability. So she could be dead there. But again, do we just want to go kind of up onto the high ground? There we go, yeah, let's get up there. Oh, are we going to get the Sue? Very nice kill on the Sue. The ulti helps kill the Jeff. I think if you just think about your ulti placement there a little bit there, I know we got a kill on the Jeff straight away, but if we look at where it's going to bounce, not getting the biggest benefit, so could we have maybe taken a moment to just kind of drop down behind the Jeff here and fire it forward into the rest of the enemy team? So we could drop down here very quickly and fire it there. And then we'd get a bounce off the group wall. Maybe it would go into this wall or into the Winter Soldier. It'd just be kind of bouncing around a little bit more. Wolfen mentions the combo refresh, root, shoot, root. Shoot is a very strong combo for her. Yeah, definitely. A lot of people try and go for the double shot when they're in the root, but the best thing you can do is just root them again. The most annoying thing in this game, or in any sort of game, I kind of think of these hero shooters as a mix between a MOBA and a shooter, is being constantly rooted and constantly stunned. So, yeah, we drop that down, we kill him there. And then we're chasing this Winter Soldier. It's unfortunate that we don't kill him. There's a health pack there. Oh. And then, yeah, unfortunately, a little bit of panic. What I would probably have done here is once he goes behind that wall, Squirrel Girl is able to do rebounds, so what you could have done is maybe fire some shots onto this wall here. You also know that there's a health pack down there, so you could be guarding this health pack in a sense, so when he drops down, you're kind of ready to shoot him. Chasing him there is just, like you said, a bit risky, especially Winter Soldier. He's so OP at the minute with the extra health that he's able to get on all of his abilities, but look what he's doing. He's kind of waiting for you. He's not looking behind him, so you could have just done some ricochet shots there and taken him out. I think with the jump as well, how do we end up jumping over there? Do we just normal jump or do we special jump? So yeah, we kind of leap over and we're blocking our own vision. What it'd been nice for you to do is just line up, so when you leap over, you're leaping like this, moving in this direction. So yes, you may end up falling down, but then you've got a clear line of sight into him. If you have a look at your POV here when you go over, your model ends up blocking him for most of that jump. So in hero shooters, you want to try and keep enemies on your right side. Yeah, should be pre-aiming that. We know where he is. Or just like I said, mate, taking advantage of the fact that our bullets ricochet and just peppering him. Wolfin, I'm grinding hard on my Thor account. I'll send a request once I get up to Diamond. I haven't seen you do a Thor review yet, either. Yeah, no, we haven't done a Thor review yet. I really want to do a Thor review. I really want to do a Captain America review. I'd love to do a Scarlet Witch review. Nice root, shoot, and then root again. Oh. And if you just look at what we've done there, I know it's super simple, but you've walked out of the healing bubble. So, like, just one of the most annoying things for me as Cloak and Dagger is when I put a healing bubble down and teammates run out of it. You could just stay inside this healing bubble here. You know, what's a Venom going to do to you? He's not that scary. You can be point blank range with him, making sure that all your hits are kind of landing, and then you'll be able to root. The good thing is we're now playing against the thing. You're actually playing against 3 tanks right now. So Squirrel Girl, especially, and 3 kind of melee tanks. So Squirrel Girl is going to have a lot of fun here. Nice kill there on the thing. The Squirrel Girl is 100% a thing counter. Nice kill, nice kind of pressure here. A good root. I do want to see you doing some more double roots a bit more. The easiest route to land is when you've already got someone rooted. You're probably going to ult here. So where does your ult end up going? Let's have a little look at your ulti. Does it end up dying? No, it's off to Narnia. So with Squirrel Girl's ulti, you need to be thinking a little bit more about the direction that it's firing in, just to take the biggest advantage of the bounces that you can. So when you fire it off here, oh, you've already fired it off, oopsie daisy. When we fire it off here, we jump up. What we're doing is we're just firing it straight down this channel. Again, if you just take a second to maybe fire it against this wall or in this direction, we get a much earlier bounce here, where it would bounce here. You know, it would go in this direction, maybe bounce off this, and then it would go back. Or it could kind of go in this direction. I don't know if it bounces off here. But yeah, just think a little bit more about getting the bounces, because otherwise you do get a kill with it, which is great. But then what else does it do? Ends up wrecking the group. But I think you could have got a lot more there. You know, maybe got the Winter Soldier. Again, I'm not going to complain too much because it was a great ulti in the end, and you killed a support with it, but just can you get more value out of that ultimate? The most annoying thing for when a Squirrel Girl ult is chasing you is when you're in a tight space, and all of those bounces are happening. Thing point blank, boom boom, yep, very nice. Getting the roots out on those tanky guys. And then we're not using our second route here. See, we wait a little bit. I think you have the opportunity right here, like as you're landing, to press L1. You can press L1 when you're in the air. You can press your refresh when you're in the air. And then we could have routed that Venom point blank, and we would have had a Mag, a Sue, and you all pumping into him. He does have a bunch of bonus health there at the moment, so maybe he wouldn't have died, but you would have had a much bigger opportunity to land that route than that just there where we unfortunately miss it. Right now, we should be heading up to this high ground. So this high ground here is going to give you great vision of the enemy coming out. We can be firing in. We could also be thinking about going on to, I know it sounds silly, but this high ground here, you'd be able to fire into this room. Just what's great about Squirrel Girl is area denial. If we look at where these shots are going, they're actually not doing much for us. So just high ground is key on Squirrel Girl, and she's got jumps to get her up onto them. want to see a root on the thing. So yeah, just wait for his charge to end. Just take your time a little bit more. Look, we end up just kind of throwing it into Narnia. Nice root hit there on him though, and you kill her. How does that invisible woman die? She just happened to be there invis at the time. How unfortunate for her. Where does she go? Oh, she actually jumps in aggressively and dies to the splash. Yeah, it does work on the thing as long as he's not charging. So it's a root. The thing's just immune to displacement. So rooting and stuns work. And it can't be done against him while he's charging. He can't charge out of it, but if he's charging, he's immune. So you see that yellow bar at the top? So we'll just let him charge in again. And I'll pause it. So you see this yellow bar here? That means that currently they're stun immune. So right there, sorry, stun immune and CC immune and, you know, all sorts of immune. So he's immune, now he's not. As soon as he lands that slam on the ground. And if you look for a second, he gets caught in a slight animation. So it's even easier for you to line it up when that charge is ending. You catch him there, you kill the Sue. Yeah, I don't mind you destroying that group wall. You do have a root here, though. That's unfortunate that we missed that root. Does that go under his legs? Let's have a little look. Yeah, he jumps over it. That's real sad. Your positioning right now is great, though. Like, we're just aiming into this main channel. Again, I could argue, do we want to be up on the high ground here? Could we have been up on this high ground here a little bit earlier? But for me, this is a great position. You know, you don't want to be at the front. You don't want to be up there with your tanks. It's back here that you want to be. Clobbering time. Do we get out of the way? Oh, he misses it, it looks like. So again, you see there, you've actually hit him with your squirrel, but he's got that yellow thing around his health bar. So when Jeff is underground, he's also CC immune. So you can't root him or stop him when he's in a position like that. As a squirrel girl as well, like, I'm not going to lie to you, unless your aim is perfect, you're probably 9 times out of 10, so you hit him, so you even do the damage. 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to kill him when he's underground. So just focus on the other people currently doing damage to you. You're actually surrounded by 3 tanks currently. I know you're feeling, oh god, I've got to save my team. Jeff's got 3 of them in, but yeah, you're just not going to get it. And what we could be doing here is just spending the time to get up on the high ground. You're against a group which he finds it really difficult to get on the high ground. You're against a thing who finds it really difficult to get on the high ground. Sadly, we use our jump there to get away. But we could, you know, use our refresh. Have we already used our refresh? We use our refresh to... Yeah, that's a little bit of a mistake there. But just here, Unos, what I was saying is one habit you definitely don't want to do. If we look, we have our root available. We have our refresh available. But what we end up doing is we use our refresh to use a root. So what we've done is we've stopped ourselves from having the option to leap away again here. What you could have done when you've got the thing on you, when you got venom on you, and in the end, when you actually end up with Groot on you, you could have used your ability refresh to leap up onto the high ground here, leap up onto the high ground here, up here, you know, maybe even over the little car here, and just give yourself more options. You want to not be using this to do an ability that is off cooldown, because otherwise you're just penalizing yourself from having some freedom to be able to do stuff between it when we've got a bit of time. So yeah, just to round up what we were saying there, don't use the refresh ability when you've got the ability you're going to use off cooldown. Yep, destroy that group wall. We're just firing and forgetting right now. Just, oh, very nice root him. Oh, nice kill. Now this could be, I know there's currently a Sue ult up at the moment, but just to cause some chaos, this is a great location to throw your ulti into. So what we could do is we either wait a couple of seconds and we stand here and we just keep firing in, but I'd love to see you fire your ult in this direction, making it bounce off this wall, off the payload, just kind of bouncing back and forth, and it might even do enough damage to kill this Sue. It might force her to kind of jump onto the high ground, just cause a little bit of chaos in the middle of all of that. What we could do just there as well, instead of leaping up, we could be refreshing our root ability here, trying to catch that cloak and dagger as they're coming back in. The audio's gone a bit muted, which is very strange. Sounds like you're underwater. I don't know if you guys hear that as well. So we'll just rewind, so hopefully it's not like that anymore. But yeah, just fire into there. Root this cloak and dagger as she's coming in. And again, just look at the way that we've thrown the ult. Yes, we get the cloak and dagger kill, but it's bounced out immediately. The good news is it bounces back out into Sue, so maybe I'm wrong. But I can just see you kind of throwing it a bit randomly. You're not thinking a little bit about how those bounces are going to work. For example, if you just kind of put it in this direction, you've got that bounce back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like I mentioned. But it gets a double kill, so again, we can't complain too much. We should be hitting the root there, in all honesty. I tend not to talk about aiming and stuff like that very much, but I think just here for me, he's not really moving that erratically, he's not jumping. You just kind of flick your mouse at the last second, or your controller at the last second, and you end up losing him. You get a very nice, lucky kill onto the thing. And then do we need to run away there? I understand we're low, but we're 126. You know, the Venom is actually running for his life as well. And when you go up into the air, you kind of completely lose track of the Venom. But either way, the Venom's forced to run away, and we cap the point there. So, could you do your team a little favor here and just destroy this wall? Like, this is going to be a brutal wall for as you guys are trying to go in, so I would just try and destroy that while you've got an opportunity. You're not going to kill a Groot on your own, just kind of standing up here with a single root. So, just kind of focus on those walls a little bit, get them down, do really, really high damage. Did you know as well that when you use your refresh, it reloads you too? Just as a little one. Not too many people know that. And then just here for me, you know, we've got the Star-Lord stuck in a very kind of static animation. He can't flip while he's in the middle of that. He'd have to cancel it. So I would have liked to seen you try and root him here. Your root is off cooldown. Instead, what you actually end up doing is ignoring him, and he's killing your Sue. So you've kind of abandoned one of your healers, and it's really important that you're peeling to protect them. If we just look here, you can even see the kind of the Sues around here, and yeah, you just give up on him. We're not going to be able to do much here at the moment either, because there's a cloak and dagger ulti going on. So that was just, yeah, a little bit bad of us, to be honest. There, we should be protecting our Sue. Nice escape though. Oh, health pack. Sad. I don't think you were thinking about that health pack really when you landed. Maybe you were, but sadly we don't make it. But look who kills us. Look who kills us in the end. Star-Lord. Yeah. So, again, as long as they don't have the yellow thing, they are, you know, available to be CC'd or crowd controlled. It's his flip which you can't control him with. Yeah, we mentioned that earlier, didn't we, Wolfin? The advantage. Hey, Debamon. and we're just going over some stuff. So thanks for making it, buddy. Always good to see you. But yeah, just what I was saying there, you know, the Star-Lord came back and ended up killing us. And if we just think about this kind of whole interaction, if our Sue was still alive, she'd be able to heal us. And this Star-Lord in the end wouldn't be the one to kill us. So that snowball effect, that domino effect, where we didn't punish this man earlier for being on his own, he punished us by killing our Sue, and he's punished us by killing us in the end too. Boom. And yeah, as we mentioned, like Squirrel Girl really benefits from high ground. And just there, I think we rush both of those routes. So again, you can charge it up, can't you? There's a charge to her route. And if we look, we just kind of throw it straight away. There's like half of the bar not filled yet. Just take a moment, you know, just really think about aiming that. And then the second one, you throw it out when Magneto stood in front of you, so you can't see anything, and that second route ends up missing as well. If you hit one of those routes, one of those tanks is dead for sure. Supports love just running in front of you, don't they, you know? She's always going to go for the health pack here, I think. Where do we think she is, guys? Any bets? Ah, she's watching. Where does she end up going? So she goes to jump up, she sees you. So I was wrong about the health pack. Oh, and you end up killing a Groot? How do we kill a Groot there? Oh, nice. He just kind of jumps into us. You just have people run in front of your face. Yeah, you don't always have to go for directs. You can bounce the acorns off the ground at your targets if you need to, definitely. And you, again, it's a bit of a tough one, but you can try and throw a root up to Star-Lord when he's legendary. So he is rootable in this form. So we could have tried to root him there. Or, again, if we just kind of look at how we died, yes, you try and kill him. If one other person on your team, if that mag just did a little bit of damage or hit him, he would have died. I think he gets away on like 1 HP. How much health does he have at the end there? Literally 5 HP. So he's a lucky boy. Easier to hit while he's ulting as well, yeah. He tends to be a bit more predictable in the sky. Definitely a panic ulti there. The Star-Lord has been bullying you. So if we just look at that again, when we come out of spawn, the best door we can take as Squirrel Girl, considering the fight that's going on, is 100% this one. We can stand at this angle here. No worries, you know, good luck at work, buddy. Keep the country safe, sir. Stand at this door here, fire into the crowd. You would have been able to see the Star-Lord. You know, we haven't really kind of paid attention to that Star-Lord. We panic, we use the ulti, and then we just end up with not much use out of it. So yeah, they are really holding you here, currently. If you need some healing, just walk in front of your Sue. And again, get up on this high ground. You know, I'd love to see you playing up here, firing in. Not a fan of using that ult close to your own spawn, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, it's 100% a panic ulti there, Wolfin. I don't mind if they use the ult over in this direction because of how long we're being held here. And if we can get some kills out of it, great. If it's the first kind of push on attack, then... That's a big tongue, baby. If it's the first push on attack, then yeah, it's not value. But if you're stuck here and you're forced to use ults, it's better than carrying on being stuck here. It kind of comes out of Groot's hand as well. I thought his whole hand extended, but it actually looks like something comes out of his hand, which is interesting. You see there. But yeah, just get on that high ground, you know. Star-Lord's coming in. It's a route, and can you see there again? What we do is, I guess there's 1 second left, so I'm not going to complain too much. Good kill on the Star-Lord. I'd like to see a second route come out there on the group. Route the group. There's a massive crowd there that we can fire that route into. And again, like, there's a Venom in our face. And we're just kind of letting him stop the point. Like, you're really good at punishing Venom. You would have flanked them and thrown the ult from behind. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, we could have maybe taken the flank up here. But again, we were just in that panic mode, so we ended up using it as a panic. I understand there's an Agamotto going on, so maybe you're trying to get here to punish that Agamotto. Nice hits onto him. And then a root. Lovely. And then again, do we refresh and second route the Venom? Venom's got a decent escape. Fortunately, he dies, so we don't need it. Nice shots into here. Just make sure you're using the rebound of the walls up there. And just there, I think we panicked with both of those routes. I think you've got a little bit of a bad habit of just firing all the time as well. Just holding down that right trigger, even when you can't see anyone. If we just think about that ult again, we've just fired it. We haven't considered the bounces, and look at the value that we're getting out of it. We've ended up with no value, really, sadly. And the Jeff kills half our team. Even when we go to use it, there's not really much value. There's no one kind of in the area. So, it's just not great. Nice spatial control. Is that when we're talking about coming into here, Wolfen? Positioning as well here, high ground. So we could be up on the high ground here, firing downwards into the group. No, earlier. It's a good jump out of the Jeff ulti. We do nearly kill the Jeff. It's so close to him dying there. I'm going to check Doctor Strange and I'm going to see if he has his Maelstrom of Madness. No, he doesn't. So sadly, sadistic Jeff commits seppuku. Oh, kamikazes off the side. Sorry, he doesn't seppuku. He kamikazes off the side, taking 3 with him. Clobbering time. Nice kill here. That route a little bit earlier. And the point. So we end up losing the point there. I didn't even notice the timer. So, like, you need to be getting a health pack. You know, popping in here, getting a health pack, making it back over there. You are doing a lot of damage, just kind of stood here. But you haven't... I don't think you've once looked and thought, okay, I'm going to have to get to the point now to delay. You're just kind of thinking, I need to kill this Venom. Like, we haven't leaped, we haven't picked up a health pack. If you get onto this point, maybe you delay it long enough for the Strange. No, Strange is already dead, but maybe you delay it long enough for your 2 supports here, which are about to come around the corner and save you. So just, yeah, we're lacking awareness of the timer. And we haven't paid any respect or even attempted to try and get on the point to delay there. So, not your fault that we've lost. I think you played probably really well. You've probably got the most final hits on your team. Yeah, you've got 16. Your other DPS is only rocking 5. You know, you've got some really great kills. You've had some really lucky kills too. Ult usage we could be using definitely a lot better, thinking about the walls and where to bounce them, and just having that awareness of you need to be on the point to support your team there at the end. So yeah, just fire at the back towards these squishy targets. Again, they're the ones who are most likely going to be putting pressure onto you. Fire and spray into that main channel, baby. Oh, nice route. If you root him again there, he's absolutely dead. You managed to take him out. Destroy those group walls. And again, when you're in those kind of major areas and you don't want to waste time reloading, you can use your refresh ability, which is an instant reload. Again, could we leap up here onto this high ground to just get some vision over those walls? You know, positioning-wise, we could be back up here as well. We could be up on this roof. Yes, you make yourself a little bit more of a target. Yeah, the tank should absolutely be falling back there. You know, sadly, the Strange has been caught out by some walls, which is why it's really important you're destroying them. Also, looks like the enemy team is currently down a player. But some nice awareness from you to know it's time to leave. But could we be rooting the Venom here to protect our Mantis? We're just kind of allowing the Venom to walk forward in a straight line, putting pressure onto our Mantis there. Oh. So we're shooting group walls at the moment when we don't need to be. There's currently a Venom on our back. So, like, let's pay attention to that Venom. Let's support our backline and protection from that Venom. The ult here. Oh dear. The only place they're stampeding, brother, is to the Nether Realm. I understand what you're going for there. I get the flank that we're thinking about, you know. But remember what we said before. What we could do is, instead of just dropping the ult here, we could just be spraying down from this high ground. If you're going to ult, we could put it down when she moves between both these points here. You could also look, the rest of your team is still struggling with that Venom that hopped in earlier. So we just kind of abandon them a little bit here. And then when we drop the ulti down, sadly, it's a bounce off the payload and it disappears into space. And then again, we're not playing on those high grounds. We've just ended up walking back into the middle of the firing line. So just a bit more flanking. Oh god. Rooted him as he went on the jump pad. And just aim a little bit further down there. Can you see when we're just firing over, we could be going for bounces off the floor into the Jeff? Totally didn't spend 2 minutes trying to spell tactical. We ended up just kind of shooting past him. So just aiming into the ground a bit. And also, you don't do anything to try and stop that payload. It's 4.68 meters away. You've got to, you know, you've got to be trying to help there. What ends up happening is the Strange puts... Does he put a portal or does he just come out of space? The Strange comes out of space, but literally a second too late. And if we look here, he hits a 4-man Agamotto. So I want to see you giving up your life to stop this payload. Exact. Touch the point. If you die here trying to stop the point, it's not the end of the world. Maybe you stop it. Look, you stop it. The Cloak and Dagger's here. The Winter Soldier's here. The Mantis is here. Magneto's not too far away. So you could have really, really delayed here. Unfortunately, we don't touch the point. We end up losing it. You know, we're playing very, very safe there.
By the eye of
Agamotto from space is coming in. But it's 1 second too late. And look at them all die. Their whole team is now dead. But all of this is now pointless. Because now they get to spawn in here. Yeah, Wolfin's mentioned in the chat there will be times where it's worth dying, and this is absolutely one of those moments. If you touch the point here and stop them, and you end up dying in, you know, a second or half a second before that Strange touches down, that Strange is then going to stop the point. All these homies are dead. We got Jeff curled up on the floor crying. Cloak and Dagger, you know, their neck's been snapped. Groot's flying up into space. So you'd be lying amongst the corpses of all your foes, but the point wouldn't be capped. So don't be afraid to sacrifice yourself in order to save the point. Especially when the homies are nearby. See, look, Venom died, Thing died, so you actually got a team wipe there apart from the Star-Lord who was AFK. And you guys were holding really well there. until that point, I think. You know, you were holding him for quite a while. Sorry for rewinding here, but there was only 2 minutes left. Holding this point for another 30 seconds could have been great. I think you would have even held them for a little bit longer too, because Mag still has his ulti, and Cloak and Dagger wasn't very far away from her ulti. So you may have even been able to hold them on this first point if you sacrificed your life. I don't mind what you're doing here, you're just trying to build up your ulti charge. Nice jump away from the Jeff. Sad, again, we've spoken about it, it's really, really tough for you to kill him. In that, this Jeff has been cooking though, he's had like triples for most of the game. For some reason, Jeff ulties are good again. Did they secretly buff his ult? Sometimes you can get in. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it is harder with your projectiles. Just there as well, we panic with the root. So just take a second. Take a moment. You know, you've still got like half a second there to charge it up. You'd like to throw a mag ult at him. Absolutely. Get a slam dunk on that boy. But yeah, just take a moment. Look, he actually ends up getting slept as well. So you guys could have comboed him for quite a while there with your double root. You've got your ulti too, so how are we going to use this? We have to be really careful with... Oh, Star-Lord's about to wreck us. You have to be really careful with that ult in this area because your ult is able to just run off the point and disappear. So you have to really think about how you're going to bounce it. Yeah, really, really easy route we missed. So we have a Star-Lord in our face. What are we going to do? Are we going to panic? Okay, so we're not trying to root him there. I think you mentioned in the chat earlier you didn't know you could root him when he's in that. But that would have been another super easy route. My man's point blank in your face. You root him, he's dead. Can Jeff use his swim in Namor ult? Does it count as a mobility ability? I do not believe he can. It is a mobility ability. Unlucky on the kill. But then at the same time... We've jumped into the fray, we're in the kind of the main channel, and we've actually got our back turned to the main fight. So we can't see this Venom coming in at us. Sadly, the Star-Lord gets away on 1 health. Again, if we rooted him up here, we could have stayed on the high ground, so we would have then been able to just keep putting the pressure in. Cool. So we're coming back from spawn. We've got our ulti, so I'd like to see how you maybe again take some high ground here. Head up into this area up there. That would give you a good vision of kind of everyone through the rocks. Just playing a you know, on the low ground a fair little bit. And again, just think about those routes a little bit more. I'm worried your ult's going to go right off the map. So now we could be kind of dropping behind. We could have been up on the high ground here. Drop our ult in kind of this direction to cause all of those bounces. You could even just drop your ult down there now to wreck that thing. Sad thing is there is a... Oh, lovely Groot wall from his teammate there to block his ulti. God, you'd be pissed if you were the thing, right? Shall we have a look at that again? Shall we look at that from the thing's perspective? That's a sad one. He sees the best ulti of his life. And his teammate Groot says, no! But back to you. So we do end up dropping our ulti afterwards here. Where did it go? It's over there. So let's just have a look at those bounces that it gets. Let's analyze the bounces on this one. So we get a bounce off the payload, a bounce off there. Bounces through. See how much more effective these kind of bounces were in this tight area. Yes, you didn't really get any kills with it. But it did a lot more than your others in regards to damage and opportunity to do some damage there. Let's get up onto that high ground on the left. Nice. Fire into that little room. Yeah, absolutely. This is perfect. Yeah, see, look, got a kill without even meaning to. That's the power of Squirrel Girl. Lovely kill on the Jeff. And then are we going to root him? Again, both of those roots wasted, sadly. Venom's behind you. Nice hits. Lovely root this time. Yep, making advantage of that point blank root. Refresh your root, drop another one onto the thing. Make sure he can't get away. Oh, unlucky not to kill her there. And then that ulti. Exactly like I said. You managed to kill the Jeff, and you save your tanks. Wow. That was pretty lucky. Great job, though. You managed to catch him as he's going for the spear. If that Jeff just jumps off himself. Yeah, Bucky definitely stole the thunder. You would have 100% got the triple kill on them there. But yeah, that was a very fortunate kind of aim forward onto the truck. I don't think you meant to do it, personally. If you did, I apologise, but you've mentioned you weren't really thinking about bounces before. No, both of his tanks survive. So you managed to save your teammates there. So an ult for an ult, not the end of the world. Yeah, really, really nice. Star-Lord definitely puts you under pressure, though. Iron Man, you know, he's up there. We haven't really, you know, paid him any attention. You can see him blasting quite a lot. We're just firing into tanks. So just think about that. Now your high ground isn't as safe versus an Iron Man. So you have to think a little bit more about the angles that you're taking versus somebody like him.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Again, just think about these routes a little bit more, you know. And just here, like, we're alive. The point's coming in. We need to be getting over here to this point. We need to be trying to stop this point from getting captured. Again, throw your life at it. It's okay if you die stopping this point. Because look how many of the team are close by. And as a Squirrel Girl, with your big leap, you definitely could have got over there in time. You could have even double leaped to get over there. And again, your team kind of loses a point that you yourself probably could have stopped. Nice hits on the Iron Man, though. But now it's too late. You know, it doesn't even look like you've realised that they're spawning on the left yet, either. I don't even think you clocked on that. Sadly, the point's been lost. What's shooting here going to do? You know, you're shooting into the spawn door. You're not going to get a lot of value from that. Get your route ready for the thing. You hit Hulk. Are you going to do anything with it? No. And then I personally... yeah, I wouldn't be ulting there. Again, anyone you kill is just going to respawn in the little room over here. So we're not going to gain that much value at this point in time, sadly. So just think a little bit more about what you're getting. Looks like we've gone back down to 50 followers from 51. Hopefully we don't lose our affiliate. But yeah, just leap away here. You know, you can't hide behind this wall. He's definitely looking at you the whole time that he's going to fire it. Awesome. And then you just kind of get squished into this wall. You get your extendo legs. You turn into Mr. Fantastic for a moment. Sorry. I think the replay loves to do stuff like that. But yeah, stop that point, brother. You know, throw your life at the point. If we look at how many times you've died, 8 times. It's not that many. And a life is worth a point stop, in my opinion. Could we have just rooted him there as well? You know, just try and throw a root. Punish him for coming that far up. Yeah, and then we actually end up dying to him, sadly. So this Iron Man pick has really started to not punish us, but he's able to put a lot of pressure onto us. And we've died at a very critical point, where the point's about to be capped. Stand on the point, please. Stand on the point, please. There's been 3 opportunities. I thought here, I was really happy. We're finally standing on the point. You know, we're finally stopping them from capping it. We leap over. I'm a little bit worried, and then my worries are confirmed because we're outside the point. You know, we have a Winter Soldier ulti going off. We have our teammates on the way back in. A Cloak and Dagger is still alive. Stranger's come in. Magneto's come in. So again, touching the point here, you know, is what we need to be doing. It's the name of the game. There's only 10 seconds left. If you touch the point here and delay for just a few seconds, this Winter Soldier lands in with his ulti. This Strange comes around the corner. The Mag comes around the corner. More of them die. And I even think you end up winning this game here. Remember the 30 seconds we spoke about earlier? If you had stopped that point, it could have come in handy here. Remember earlier where we said we could have stopped the point there, maybe held 5 to 10 seconds? It could have come in handy here. There's 3 opportunities where you could have touched point and helped stop the game from progressing. And unfortunately, on all 3 occasions, we have missed the mark and in turn have ended up losing the game. Again, you can't blame a loss of a game on one person, and that's not what I'm doing. But you had the option to help prevent the loss, and you could have impacted this game in a bigger way than just your amazing final hits. Look how many kills your team has in comparison to them. Look how many more deaths that the enemy team has in comparison to your team. But at the end of the day, they have died in order to stop a point. They have died in order to cap a point. And in the end, it's worked out better for them. Yeah, they played the objective. So I think you're a good Squirrel Girl. You know, you've got decent aim. Your positioning is, you know, most of the time okay. I would like to see a little bit more high ground coming out from you. But your objective game sense is lacking slightly. And if you just had a little bit more game sense and awareness around making sure that the point is capped, I 100% think that could have been a win.